The best running back in the nation. Most of you know him from his broken spin move in college football 25.
They're going to run it to the right. Turns it on in midfield.
But he's way more than that. As a true freshman in the SEC, it only took him 9 games to break the 1,000-yard mark, which had him tied with Hall of Famer Herschel Walker and only trailing all-time NFL rushing leader Emmitt Smith, who did it himself in 7 games. His story is a phenomenal one, and I'm going to tell you why. Quinshon Judkins is
What
next
we
up.
do here is go back.
Before he gripped the football for the first time, the star running back's initial passion was skateboarding, a rather unique sport to gravitate towards for a kid who grew up in Montgomery, Alabama, right in the heart of SEC country, where football reigned supreme. In 2016, just before his 7th grade year, Judkins' family moved 20 minutes southeast of Montgomery to Pike Road, which had a population of a little less than 1,000 at the time. Pike Road was a new school system originally planned for 2010, but with many setbacks and delays, it took until 2015 for the doors to finally open, which was a K-8 school. That same year, the school system had announced it had purchased a building nearby and 26 surrounding acres and planned to turn it into a high school, set to open in 2017, which it did when it welcomed 480 7th through 10th graders that fall, Judkins being one of them. The town population grew much more rapidly than the school system's ability to purchase or build new buildings. Overcrowding became a big issue. In June of 2018, the Pike Road school system purchased what was previously Georgia Washington Middle School and turned it into a high school building that housed 8th through 12th grade. Next came sports. Patrick Browning knew what he was up against when he took the job at Pike Road to become their first high school football coach. He remembers meeting Judkins for the first time in the spring of 2016. Browning was standing in the middle of a makeshift outdoor weight room he and the coaching staff had built to have some outward appearance of a strength program. When asked what he had to do going into that first season, he said, "I sort of had to brainwash them. I told them as 7th and 8th graders if they stuck it out, we were going to win a state championship. I believed it, but it's another thing to actually do it. But I promised them and made them believe that. I sort of brainwashed myself into believing it too." Browning and his upstart Pike Road group played a middle school schedule. The next fall, they played a JV schedule. They probably put together back-to-back undefeated seasons. Things seemed way ahead of schedule, thanks in no small part to their young, promising halfback. "I remember in my first JV game in 8th grade, I had 5 touchdowns," Judkins recalled. "I remember thinking that most of our opponents are all older than me, and I'm still having success. That is when I thought, okay, maybe I'm pretty good at this." Then, in the fall of 2018, the toughest challenge awaited the Pike Road Patriots. They embarked on their first season of high school football. Browning estimated having 40-something kids on the roster that first season, mostly consisting of 9th and 10th graders, with a small junior class and no seniors. Pike Road started the season 5-0. But lost 5 of its last 6, finishing 6-5 in its inaugural season. Judkins only played in 9 games that season, only totaling 19 carries. Success had come easy to him at that point, and that season frustrated him. His coach was quoted on saying, "The jump to facing seniors as a 9th grader, his body may not have been fully ready. He would have been frustrated with me, but he wasn't quite ready yet." But he stuck it out and became one of the best running backs to ever come through the state of Alabama. Much like mastering a new trick on a skateboard, Judkins kept at it, kept practicing, kept lifting, kept trying. In his 10th grade year, he ran for over 1,100 yards with 16 touchdowns and averaged over 10 yards per carry, as the Patriots went 10-0 in the regular season and made it to the second round of the Alabama 3A playoffs. Followed that up with his junior year in a COVID-riddled fall of 2020, Pike Road made the jump from 3A to 5A. The Patriots went 10-0 in the regular season again, but lost in the first round of the playoffs. Judkins ran for 1,400 yards and 25 touchdowns. In his first 3 seasons of high school football, Pike Road has amassed a 27-7 record. In Judkins' last year of high school football, him and his teammates remember the promise that they made to the coach way back in 7th grade, winning a state championship. The Patriots accomplished just that, and left no doubt on their path to doing so. Pike Road went 14-0 in 2021. The Patriots averaged over 46 points per game. They won every game by double digits. They outscored their opponents 650 to 142. Shut out 6 opponents, and capped it off with a 51-14 victory in their state championship game. Judkins ran for over 1,500 yards with 26 touchdowns that year. He is a smart kid, coming from a good background. His mother is an attorney, and his father owns and operates several businesses. At the end of his high school career, he was rated a 3-star recruit, and he was the #1 running back coming out of the state of Alabama. he held offers from the likes of Auburn, Notre Dame, and Ole Miss, among other SEC schools. Judkins took AP classes from ninth grade, which allowed him to graduate early. He even received an academic scholarship to Yale, but in the end he chose Ole Miss. He eventually hung up the helmet and elbow pads in favor for a face mask and shoulder pads at 14, when he realized he might have a future in football. He doesn't ride anymore. The risk of injury is too great. Tweaking an ankle while attempting a new trick, that would be a tough one to explain to the coaching staff. But he still owns multiple skateboards, and took one last ride that December before heading off to college. He was heavily recruited by head coach Lane Kiffin, who even came to watch one of his games, which is very rare for a head coach to do for a three-star out-of-state prospect. He started his true freshman year splitting carries with the new transfer from TCU, Zach Evans. At Arkansas November 19th, he ran for 214 yards and a touchdown, in tandem with Zach Evans' 207 yards, to become part of the first SEC duo to both go beyond 200 yards in a single game. He was clearly the better of the two, even as a true freshman. With Zach Evans being a future sixth-round pick, Judkins showed his worth and shattered multiple records along the way. He set single-season records at Ole Miss in his true freshman season with over 1,500 yards rushing and 16 rushing touchdowns, along with one receiving touchdown. He led all the SEC in total touchdowns, rushing yards, and yards per game in 2022, won SEC Freshman of the Year, and was first-team All-SEC. He then followed that up the next year by leading the SEC with 15 rushing touchdowns in 2023, along with another 1,000-yard season, helping Ole Miss beat Penn State in the Peach Bowl 38-25, with 34 carries for 106 yards. After the Peach Bowl, on January 4th, Judkins announced that he was entering the portal. This was a big shock in the college football community, with many fans trying to call him out, claiming he had attitude problems or had some sort of problems with some of his teammates or coaching staff, even though it's never been a problem for him if you look back in his entire career. On January 8th, he signed with the best team in the country and instantly created the most feared 1-2 punch in the nation, while also tripling his NIL valuation to over $1 million. Judkins' best ability is his availability. Having played in all 26 games in the first 2 years of his career, this Buckeye backfield as a duo combines for over 5,000 rushing yards and 81 touchdowns total. He's already proven he can work in tandem with another running back. In fact, his stats show he's better when he doesn't have to take a load all by himself. This Ohio State team has the second best odds to win it all in the first year of the 12-team playoffs. This will probably be his last year at college ball, but can he top it off with the Natty? We'll just have to wait and see.